At this point, you should be familiar with the basic functions of PSICAT: starting a project, adding sections, describing those sections, and exporting your description data. Now you're ready to get rolling on a real, full-blown project. PSICAT's default set of lithologies and symbols may not be well suited to your project's needs. Fortunately, you can create your own sets of lithologies and symbols and use those instead. In PSICAT lingo, these sets are known as schemes. They're created and edited in a tool called Scheme Editor that's included with every release of PSICAT. It's found in the Tools Scheme Editor directory in the main PSICAT folder. This is the main PSICAT folder. If I go into Tools, Scheme Editor, there's the executable. Find it now and launch it. It may take several seconds to open. Once it does, you should see a screen like this. Now let's create a very simple lithology scheme. First, you'll need to give your scheme an ID, a name, and a type. ID is used by PSICAT internally to identify a scheme. It should be a unique name. It should contain only characters and periods, no spaces and no special characters. We encourage the use of a reverse domain name. We're all familiar with domain names like google.com and umn.edu. LATCOR's domain name is latcor.umn.edu, so the reverse domain name would be edu.umn.latcor. We'll start all of our scheme IDs with that domain, and then add further detail. So we'll start with edu.umn.latcor. We'll add further detail. This is a lithology for the PSICAT tutorial, so I will call it PSICAT tutorial lithology. Choose a name appropriate to your organization. The most important thing, though, again, is that it be unique. Name is what the users will see when they're working with the scheme. There are no restrictions here. Just give it a meaningful descriptive name. I'll call it PSICAT tutorial lithologies. And then you need to choose a type. There are only two choices, lithology or symbol. We're creating a lithology scheme, so choose lithology. Now let's add some entries to our scheme. To create a new entry, click the Add button. You'll see a new entry appear in the list above. Now we'll give this entry a name, an image, and a background color. The name field is focused after you click Add, so you can start typing right away. So I'll call this Fun New Lithology Entry. When you exit the name field, the code field below will automatically be filled with a modified version of the name. So if I tab down, automatically the code field is filled with a variant of the name I entered. Code is how PSICAT identifies this entry internally. Every code in a scheme should be unique, but unless you give two entries the exact same name, which probably isn't a good idea anyway, your codes will be unique by definition, so you should rarely, if ever, need to modify this field. As always, we'll ignore the group field. Next, choose an image for your entry by clicking the Set Image button and selecting an image. I'll choose Basaltic Flows. Then choose a background color by choosing the Set Color button. I'll go with a light green. And now you're done. Once you're happy with your entry, click the Update button to apply these changes. You can see there's new entry here right now, so none of the changes we've made have taken effect until we click the Update button. So I click Update, now it says Fun New Lithology Entry, and we're set. Now let's create another entry by clicking the Add button again, following the same steps. Second lithological entry. Again, the code field fills automatically. Pick some kind of image, pick a color, maybe nice salmon for this. And this time, instead of clicking Update, click Update and Add. Doing so will save your changes to this entry and immediately create a new entry that you're ready to edit. You can start typing in the name of this one right away. So third entry, super duper. Again, set an image and a color. And this is the last entry we're going to create for this example, so just click Update, not Update and Add. So you should now have 3 entries in your lithology scheme. You can click over them and see what they look like. You can edit these by modifying their properties. For example, let's say I wanted to change this to be yellow. I can just set color, yellow. Remember that you have to click Update to apply that change, but now I've done it and now it's yellow. Suppose I change this color to dark blue and change the name to something stupid. And then suddenly realize that was a bad idea. If that happens, I can click the revert button to return it to its original state. Now that you have a scheme, let's save it and put it to use in PSICAT. Choose File, Save As, save it somewhere. Call it My Lithology. Save. And now let's hide Scheme Editor and open up PSICAT. In PSICAT, create a new project. Using the same steps as before, let's call this Tutorial Proj. I'll just use that as a name. This time, instead of choosing Default for schemes, choose Custom. When you hit OK, another dialog will be opened. This is called the Choose Schemes dialog. Click Add Scheme and select the scheme you just created. You should now see it appear in the list. Hit OK to close this dialog. Adding a scheme to your project creates a copy of the scheme used only by your project. If you open your projects folder, if I can find my projects folder. Okay, I found my project folder. If you open that folder, you'll see another folder inside called Schemes, and if you open that, you'll see your scheme. This copy has been added to your project and now lives in your project, will travel with your project wherever it may go. Now let's go back to PSICAT. Let's create a new section to test out our scheme. Go to New and choose the bottom option, Section. We don't need an image for this section because we're just experimenting. So this is an easy way to create an empty section. So click this. It's a very simple dialog. You just need to give the section a name, super section, and a range in meters. I'll just do 0 to 1. And you can leave the image field blank. We don't need one right now. Click OK. You should see a new section appear. Double click it to open it. It's totally empty. Now create a new interval. Then go down to the Lithology pop-up, and when you open it, you should see your 3 lithological entries available and nothing else. This is because when we chose to import custom schemes, we did not import the default PSICAT schemes. Select one of these entries, and you should see it fill the interval you just created. Now create a new symbol and go down to its scheme pop-up. Notice that none is the only option available in this pop-up. This is because our project doesn't have any symbol schemes at present. You can see this in the Choose Schemes dialog, which can be opened from Edit, Choose Schemes. Our only scheme, of course, is a lithology scheme. You can see in the text here it says Type Lithology. So we have no scheme of type symbol right now. That's why we have nothing available to us to fill our new symbol. So let's correct that by creating a new simple symbol scheme. Let's delete that symbol and save this section and close it. And now return to Scheme Editor. Choose File, New to start a new scheme. As before, we'll give it a unique ID and a descriptive name. So we'll call it edu.umn.latcore.psycat.tutorial.symbol. I'll call this PSICAT tutorial symbols. This time, you'll choose a type, of course, of symbol because this is a symbol scheme. Once again, add entries. Symbol 1. Just to keep things really simple here. That. And for symbols, PSICAT doesn't use the background color at all, so there's no need to select a color. At this point, this symbol is good to go. So I'm going to click Update and Add and create another one. Symbol 2. Pick another random image for it. Click Update and Add. Symbol 3. Last one. How about exotic class? Click Update. So I now have 3 symbols ready to go. So again, save this scheme. Call it my symbol.jar. Don't have to call it .jar. And now let's save my symbols. Now return to PSICAT. Make sure you've closed any open section diagrams if they're open. PSICAT will not reflect changes right away until you close the dialog, or close the diagram rather, and reopen it. So now let's add our symbol scheme by going to the Edit menu, choose Schemes, click the Add Scheme button, and find your symbol scheme. When I click Open, now we'll see that's been added to the list. It's of type symbol, so we should have something to fill our symbols with now. OK out of this dialog. Open the section you created before. You can see your old custom lithology scheme there still, and create a new symbol. Now when you go to the list, you'll see your symbols available to you. Hooray! And that covers the basics of scheme creation and use in PSICAT.